welcome back to Sparklemepink. My name's Michelle, and today I'm so excited to share with you and announce that I officially am a licensed esthetician. I have my license right here in a very oversized frame. I need to get one that's more size appropriate, but it's in there and it's real and it's mine and I did it. I freaking did it. This is a long time coming. Let me tell you, my mom used to drop us off at the library when we were kids. Like growing up in the summer, she wanted us to be doing like smart people things, playing outside, reading books and all of that. But I wanted to be having fun with like girly things. So I used to like read books from Bobby Brown and making faces and just all these different like dermatologist books about skin, and it always was an interest of mine. And here I am, how many years later, finally going to be an expert in the skin care and beauty community and environment. Like, I am a skincare professional now officially. I am not a doctor. I want to clarify, I'm not able to diagnose anyone of anything, and I'm not able to change the way that your skin is structured, but I can help heal certain conditions that you have going on. And I'm more than happy to answer some questions, or if you want to book like a consultation with me, definitely email me in the contact down below. But today's video is going to be a first in a series of like a little Esti corner of Sparklemepink. I did start an esthetician page if you're interested in following it. There's not too much on there right now at the time of making this, but I'm hoping to put a lot more energy into it now that I've graduated, gotten my license, and the kids are going back to school. So let's face it, I'm gonna have a little more time on my hands. But that is called Desert Rose Beauty because I do live out here in the desert, and I was called Rose growing up by one of my very special great aunts, and it was something that was near and dear to my heart, and that's the direction I decided to go with it. So please check out the handle down below if you're interested in following along on my skin journey in the social media aspect. I will share some esthetician videos here, and then I kind of want to do a follow-up video about how I passed school, best practices, and like what worked for me, what didn't work. So if you're interested in seeing something like that, or maybe I have a bunch of tools that I've kind of been playing with, like skincare type of gizmos and gadgets, so let me know if you're interested in seeing something like that. I want to do maybe like a Q&A, kind of like ask an Esti little video. I don't know, there's so much I could take this, and I'm excited to bring that here to this Sparklemepink community. First things first, check out my shirt. Eat, sleep, exfoliate. How cute is that? I got this off of Amazon. I'll link to it down below if you want to match me. I think there was different colors and stuff like that too. I also have another one that says skin therapist, so I'm gonna be forwarding those in my Esti videos. So what did I learn in esthetician school? What did I walk away from, and was it really worth it? The first thing is, you can take your license and do so many different things. I live in the state of Arizona, so it's strict in some ways, but also lax in others. Every state has different rules. But what I was trying to say is that you can take your licensing and do so many things. You could do facials. You could work in a spa. Now gyms now have estheticians on hand. You could take this and do advanced skincare treatments like chemical peels and microdermabrasion and microneedling, dermaplaning. I'm just kind of like spouting out random facial terms at you right now. Waxing, you need to be licensed to be able to perform waxing on another person. Enzymes, and you can even take your license and then go on to laser school. I mean, you don't always need to have a license, an esthetician license, to go to laser school, but you really probably should. I don't think you're really gonna get hired on somewhere without one. My personal opinion. I'm not going to go on to laser school. I don't feel like that's where my heart is geared towards at this time, but maybe down the road that might be something I'm interested in. Speaking of that, you can work alongside a medical professional, for instance, in like a dermatologist office, alongside with them. Really, the possibilities are endless with this career. You can even do makeup. I didn't even mention that. The first thing that got me into beauty, makeup. I don't know that I would consider myself after school like a makeup artist if I didn't already have like my side thing going. Like, I've done weddings and I've done makeup for prom and getting people ready for photo shoots and stuff like that. Like, if I didn't do that as well as going to school, I definitely don't feel like you leave school feeling like a makeup artist, which kind of brings me to my next topic, is that school only touches on the basics of pretty much every topic that has to do with the skin. You will absolutely need like continued education after you graduate to perfect that skill, to learn more about it. I would even encourage you in the down hours that you have at school while you're waiting in between clients or anything like that, to read through the textbook again, look things up on YouTube, Google, or different like medical sites that can support what you're looking for, and not just like some random thread on like Reddit or something like that. Something that's a credible source online, okay? Because schools are really meant to help you learn the basics and then help you pass your state board tests. In Arizona, we had to pass not only a written like test, actually it's not written, it's on a computer, it's called theory, and that was pretty difficult. Like I definitely had to study for that. It's not something that just came naturally right out of my brain. And then we had a hands-on practical. That was a little more natural. That was a 3.5-hour process of standing there, not talking, going through the motions while somebody is standing over you, watching you go through it. By that point, don't let that scare you though, okay? I'm just giving you like a visual of what to expect, at least here in Arizona. You will feel comfortable by that point because you would have studied it for months. You're practicing in school, after hours, with friends, thinking about it, dreaming about it. Believe me, I had a lot of dreams about working on that mannequin for that practical. Yeah, but go into those tests feeling confident. If you've practiced, you put in the time, the effort, you will do totally fine. Something I didn't really expect when it came to school is a lot of it was a bit of a review for me. I have immersed myself so much, especially with having my beauty channel and, you know, growing up the way I did with going to the library and reading those books. I knew a lot of the stuff that I was learning in school already. It was nice to hear it from an instructor and reading it in the textbook like, oh, I was right about that. Okay, yes. And it actually made it a little bit easier knowing a little bit about skin, knowing a little bit about beauty going into the curriculum. It made it a little more effortless for me. There were pieces and, you know, little missing key notes that I didn't know. I definitely gathered some education from school, but there was a lot of it that I already knew. But that also kind of made me think like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Like, it made me feel really good. There were moments that I had to be like, okay, don't be cocky just because you know this topic. Listen, there might be something you don't know. I might miss something. Like, get out of my head for a little bit. Another thing is I have worked in the spa industry for 3 years now. Like, I've been immersed in a professional environment where there are estheticians, skincare. I've attended different seminars and things like that. So a lot of the stuff was not super foreign to me. Something really important to consider with going to an esthetician school, or especially the one that I went to, is you have to be self-motivated. You have to be able to take that initiative that in your down hours, you are studying. You're not just messing around, watching Netflix, talking with people, getting swooped up with the drama that's going on. You have to stay in it, stay immersed, just put yourself in it. You're there to learn. You're paying a lot of money to be there, so get the most out of it that you can. And treat school as if it's a job. There was a lot of girls that would skip because their friends are going to the lake and they wanted to go with. Like, yes, there's going to be days that you're on like a vacation, just like with a job. And there's going to be days that you miss because you're sick with the flu or whatever is going on. But to skip just because you wanted to sleep in, because you were tired, because you stayed out late the night before, like, you have to take this seriously. You have to be responsible if you want to be successful, because the way that you treat, the way you go through school, like, this is adult education. This isn't high school unless you're taking like a high school credit thing. But even then, you're putting yourself in like an adult situation. You need to be taking this seriously. You're paying a fuckload of money to be there. Again, absorb every moment that you can and don't miss just for silly excuses, okay? Cut the crap, let's do this. One of the most important things that I felt like I walked away from school and learned is that skincare is all prevention. At least the things that we as estheticians get to focus on is preventing anything from increasing or happening at all. If you have amazing skincare from early on in your 20s and 30s, wherever you are in your journey, even if you're in your 40s and you're like, I've always washed my face with Dial soap, it makes you cringe a little bit now that you know things, but it's okay, it's not too late. But we aren't going to be able to potentially, we can maybe reverse a little bit of the signs, but you're not going to get 100% reversal of super deep fine lines, wrinkles, pigmentation. You're just not going to without getting laser treatments or surgeries or seeing like a medical professional, like a doctor. Coming to see me, I'm here to set up your routine now with where you are in your journey and help you maintain and somewhat slightly reverse the signs of aging and pigmentation and acne, all of that for you. I have absolutely seen results with the changes I have made with my skincare. Like, again, I thought I knew everything going into school. No, there's definitely things, and like I said, missing pieces that I picked up along the way that I've tweaked my routine. I have helped out in the clinic. I've saw repeat clients every single week, every month, whatever it was that I was in clinic and seeing those clients. And by the end of school, I could see the difference in their skin. I was giving them my card like, hey, come see me. Like, this is exciting to see. One of my clients had full cystic acne along the top of her forehead and cheeks. Normally I'm used to seeing it down on the bottom of the chin, and by the time I was graduating, all of this area was beautiful, shining, glowing, soft, supple skin. There was some pigmentation that we were like post acne marks that we were working on through chemical peels and microdermabrasions, kind of going on and off. But it feels so good to see somebody come in without makeup when they used to come in with a full face. Not that there's anything wrong with full face, I wear full face all the time, but when you're using it to cover things that you're so insecure about, and then to see them without makeup and walk in feeling like all sassy like they should be, oh man, this is what this is all about. And one of the things that I need you to start doing right now is wearing sunscreen. Part of the prevention that we use in our skincare is sun damage. You cannot get sun damage. You don't even know until you watch the videos and you look through the textbook and learn about the different layers of skin, how much the sun is so harmful for us. So wear your sunscreen. I'll talk about this more in length in another video if you're interested in it, and wash your sunscreen off at night. Do not sleep in it. Speaking of which, did you know that if you sleep in your makeup just one night, you have aged your skin for a whole week? Now, one drunken paid night, that doesn't sound like it's a big deal. But if you're doing that every weekend, and then you find yourself you're doing it multiple times, not just from partying, but just being a tired mom even, or working doubles trying to make ends meet. Like, believe me, I have been there. I have not wanted to wash my face. Wash your face. World of difference. You might not see that adverse effect now, but I've seen the clients who are in their 50s and 60s going, I didn't wash my face and now I'm having all of these troubles, and unless I have serious surgery, it's not gonna go away. So do what you need to do to prevent it. Wear your sunscreen, wash your face, and we'll leave it at that. Actually, I'm not gonna leave it at that. I kind of want to talk about sun damage a little bit more, and something cool that I learned in school that I did not know prior. I mean, I've heard the word free radicals and antioxidants, but they float around so frequently now, I didn't really know what it meant. So free radicals come from the sun. We'll just kind of like, I'm gonna water it down a little bit to the least nerdy as possible for you. So the free radicals can come from the sun, and when it gets to a cell, it can cause that to oxidize. You've heard about our makeup oxidizing. It changes when oxygen hits it, you know, when it turns like a darker color and things like that. That is a reaction, and our skin cells can do the same thing. So a free radical is gonna go in there, and it's gonna get to the atoms that are in our cells, and it is going to steal electrons away, making that atom that was there just kind of like die off, because it doesn't have its electron. And then the free radical goes to the next one, and to the next one, and to the next one, and the next thing you know, it's causing all of this bad chaos in our skin, fine lines, wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, you name it. Whereas if we're wearing like a vitamin C, something with antioxidants, a serum, sunscreen, anything to help prevent that, antioxidants slow down to, and if anything, stops the reaction from happening. So it can prevent the free radicals from causing all of that chaos in our skin. I thought that was really cool, a little bit nerdy, maybe a little bit too much. There's definitely more in-depth information that goes along with that heck, I probably don't even understand it all. But that's the gist of it. I thought it was interesting. Free radicals are bad. Antioxidants are good. Wear your vitamin C. Another thing that my school stressed was ingredients, the importance of certain ingredients in products, and learning what each one was. We had to do papers. I mean, like 13-page papers going through, like there would be a product and all of the ingredients, and we'd have to look up, is it active or inactive? What does it do to the product? Is it an emulsifier? Is it a preservative? Is it an active ingredient that's going to cause a result? Or is it inactive and it's just kind of like a fluffer or maybe water so that it kind of like spreads a little bit easier? I definitely feel like there is a lot more for me to learn when it comes to ingredients. I'm not the expert when it comes to it by far, but my interest has been piqued, and I've been reading the bottles that I've been using and kind of looking at the brands that I thought were safe or good and going, why do you have that in there? And I personally don't believe that all parabens are bad. Again, we could save that for another video. You know, you're preserving the product so you're not getting bacteria in them. If it's something that you're not using on a quick daily basis, it's something that you're using once a week, I kind of want that product to have a paraben in it. Sometimes there's just such the small amount. It's at the bottom of the ingredient list, because again, ingredient lists, the ones that are up top are going to be the strongest concentration. At the bottom, there's just tiny little baby bits. But on that note of ingredients, again, I'll leave more of that for another video. Fragrance. No. Why? I get it. Like in the 80s, like we all had the rave hairspray, like even in the 90s. I'm a 80s baby, but I grew up in the 90s kind of jam. We still had hairspray in the 90s, okay? Everything had a fragrance to it. Everything was strong. And now when we smell things like that, you're like, ooh, that kind of smells like my mom. Not in a bad way. I love you, Mom. You're the best. But fragrance, it can wreak havoc. Like, it's so bad. It can attract the sun, causing more damage. It can attract those free radicals, again, causing more chaos and damage. And it's just not good for your skin. It's often drying. Sometimes they don't even have to list what type of fragrance is in it if it's under 1%. Sometimes it's so potent, even in the 1%, that I try my best to use products, especially the ones I'm using on a daily basis, with no fragrance. I don't even care if it smells like poo poo as long as it's working well for my skin and it doesn't have anything harmful in it. I want to use it because I want to see results, you know? Not just because something smells good. I just want you to work. This was interesting, something I learned in school. Your skin naturally exfoliates itself every 30 days. Like, you have new cells that come up every 30 days, kind of like your taste buds. I used to tell this to my mom all the time when she'd be like, you used to like this and now you're not eating it. Whatever, it was like broccoli or cauliflower or something. And I'm like, Mom, my taste buds change every 14 days. I don't even know if that's a real fact or if I just made that up. But I used to say that to her, like made it up then, not made it up now kind of thing. But for sure, your skin cells regenerate themselves and the new ones get to the top once every 30 days. However, as we age, that slows down significantly. Like, I'm talking about basically every year that you are, like let's say you're 35 years old, it's going to take about 35 days. And if you haven't been caring for your skin, it may be closer to 38 days, even though you're 35 years old. Does that make sense? If you're not exfoliating, you're not using sunscreen, you're not using antioxidants, effective, I'll call them kind products on your skin, you can even be at 40 days. And the slower it is to get new skin cells to the top, the more there's buildup on the top, and these nice, fresh, healthy cells start to get bogged down. They're not getting as much oxygen. They're not thriving as best as they can because they're not getting to the top. You get where I'm going? So we want that fresh skin constantly coming up, okay? We want to be building that collagen, boosting it back up. That's how you see the women who are in their 50s and 60s and even more so, with just a couple little fine lines and wrinkles. They've aged very eloquently, but they have beautifully smooth skin. I guarantee they exfoliate on a regular basis 2 to 3 times a week. They see an esthetician, if not a dermatologist, on a regular basis, and they care for their skin. And there's 2 different ways you can exfoliate too. So depending on where you're at in your journey, you might need a chemical exfoliation, you might need a physical, you might need to go on and off between the 2. It's super interesting. I didn't really think much of the different types of exfoliation until I learned about cell turnover rate and how we want to increase the cell turnover rate and get that number down a little bit lower so we can have all that fresh, beautiful skin at the top. Another thing that's super important to consider is that drying out our layers, those top layers on the top of the skin, most of those are already dead skin cells that are still holding on, by the way, but the ones that are like just there under the surface can dry out for the craziest of reasons. It's easier than you think, and it causes an array of issues. perhaps you're prone to rosacea, acne, dry skin, eczema, the list goes on. So we want to keep, that goes hand in hand with the cell turnover rate, healthy, happy skin cells staying at the top, because those happy skin cells are hydrated and they're pretty and smooth and happy, happy, happy. So keep that in mind, that if you're using a lot of drying products, things with denatured alcohol in them, ooh, stop. Try to be a little bit kinder with your skin. Kill it with kindness, and I guarantee you will see a result. Maybe not right away. Stick with things for a little bit, because again, cell turnover rate, you gotta let those kind of gunky bad cells get out of there, you know, give it some time to get up, because sometimes the gunky ones are down here too. And last but not least, something that I feel like I walked away from school learning more about is actually something I really didn't know very much about going in, and it was electricity and how amazing it can be for our skin. Like, who would have thought? It's a crazy thought to me. But we have things like high frequency, LED, microcurrent, microneedling, and microdermabrasion. All of these machines and electricity, especially like the high frequency and the microcurrent, I had no idea what those were prior to going to school. A lot of these you can purchase little like hand gizmos and gadgets and things like that on Amazon, but I do feel like you need to have it either done by a professional at least once, or maybe I could do a video kind of showing. I don't know how comfortable I feel teaching that. I mean, I feel comfortable in my skills in doing it and performing it, but some of that kind of stuff has like some serious contraindications. So definitely tread lightly when you see those types of things, and people using those like suckers on the nose to get like the pores declogged. Like, you are creating so much more damage than good when doing that. There's way more effective ways that you could do it at home or with a professional. But I'll get off my high horse now, and thank you so much for following along with me on this journey. I definitely feel like going to esthetician school was absolutely worth it. I always say this to everyone who's thinking or considering going to school: the experience you have in school is what you make of it. If you work hard, put your head down, study, and do everything that I'll share in my like how to pass esthetician school video, you will do just fine. You will have an amazing experience, have a lot of fun learning different tidbits and muscle groups and the layers of the skin and all of the amazing things that we could do as service providers of the skin. As an esthetician, it's really cool to find like what it is that I was meant to kind of offer the world, at least at this point in my life. Like, this is my journey right now, and I'm really excited and so happy to be here with you and sharing it. All right, I think that's all I have to share with you today. Again, thank you so much for being here with me, and check out my series of videos. This is going to be the first of many that are come. I'm not sure when those will come out, so I like how quickly I can turn those out. So definitely keep the notification bell on so you can get a little pop-up when those go live. Thank you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.